Welcome back to Stuttering Sports. Today is March 6th, 2021. The topic for today is the Jacksonville Jaguars, and will the 2021 offseason be the offseason where everything turns around? So without further ado, let's get right into it. The Jaguars are in a fantastic spot. They have the number 1 pick, the number 25 pick, the number 33 pick, plus the number 45 pick. They have 4 very, very, very quality draft picks that they can use, and they have the most cap space of any team in free agency, which is incredible during any offseason, but it is especially incredible when you hear the news that a massacre will be coming across the league with a bunch of veteran cuts. Just a bunch of big names will be cut because, well, teams don't have cap space. In Jacksonville, they have the power to outbid any other team. So Jacksonville is in a fantastic spot. Let's talk about their draft picks and where they could go there. With the number 1 pick, without a doubt, they're going Trevor Lawrence. I get that Urban Meyer's the head coach, and we'll talk about their coaching situation, in a few minutes. But Trevor Lawrence is undoubtedly the number 1 pick. We saw that during Trevor Lawrence's pro day, where Urban Meyer was literally 6 feet away from him the entire time. He was the closest person to Trevor Lawrence the entire pro day. So, without a doubt, they are picking Trevor Lawrence to go down to Jacksonville, and you cannot blame them at all. Trevor Lawrence is kind of dealing with a really weird thing right now, though. It's really weird timing. He is getting a shoulder surgery. He already got a shoulder surgery, and he should be back for literally around the time the season starts, so he will have a very rough introduction to the league. At least that's my opinion, being out for most of training camp, because his timetable to come back is literally about when the season starts. So I think he'll have a rough first few games. But yeah, without a doubt, Trevor Lawrence is their number 1 pick. Moving down to 25, they could go basically anywhere with this pick, because Jacksonville's a roster is not good, obviously. So they could give Trevor Lawrence a skill position player. Jacksonville's wide receiver group right now with DJ Chark plus Laviska Shenault is not bad. That's a good 1-2 combo, because we haven't really seen that combo with a real quarterback. They had Gardner Minshew and Mike Glennon last season, so seeing that combo with, an actual quarterback would be cool to see. But they could pick up a guy like Kadarius Toney. He may be there at 25. They could pick up a Rashad Bateman. He could be there at 25. They could get a tight end, whether that be Brevin Jordan or Pat Freiermuth. I don't think they'll go running back, considering James Robinson just rushed for 1,000 yards. So that is a very big plus for Trevor Lawrence to have off rip, too, to have that running game there. That's a massive plus for any QB to just be able to rely on your running back sometimes. When you look at the Jaguars defense, they could go a lot of directions there too. Josh Allen had a pretty disappointing 2020 following his Pro Bowl rookie season. I don't know how many sacks he had last year, but it was not that many at all. I know that his snap count percentage literally dropped from like 60% to like 40%. I don't know what was up with that. I did not watch Jaguars games last year. Because why would I put myself through that torture? But I do think the Jaguars do have fine building blocks. They have C.J. Henderson, the cornerback, who was a rookie last year. They also drafted Kayvon Chaisson. I believe I'm pronouncing that right, during the first round last year. He's another edge rusher with Josh Allen. They picked up Joe Schobert, middle linebacker. He had a fantastic 2020 season. So, I do think the Jaguars do have good building blocks back there. But, obviously they need a lot more if they want to be an actual respectable team. So they could definitely bolster up their defense with these next 3 picks. Let's say they pick Trevor Lawrence. They can bolster up that defense. Pick Asante Samuel Jr. during the second. Maybe Gregory Rousseau's at 25. You can try to mold him into something with Chaisson and Josh Allen. So that would be a very cool little fun scenario. I do think the Jags are in such a great spot, though, because I don't really think they can go a wrong direction during the draft as long as they pick Trevor Lawrence. Because with the roster as kind of hollow as it is right now, as long as you get a quarterback with the number one pick, no matter what direction you go from there, it makes complete sense. Let's just say they want to bolster the offensive line, makes complete sense. You want to protect Trevor Lawrence. You want to get a bunch of skill position players, makes sense. You want to surround him with weapons. Let's say you want to get 3 defensive players. It makes sense. You want to have some respectable defense. So no matter where they go after the number one pick, it makes sense on paper. It just depends on who they pick from there. So let's get into some free agency talk now. As I previously mentioned, the Jaguars, they're in such a great spot when it comes to free agency. There is a rumored massacre going to happen next week with a lot of big name guys being cut because a lot of teams need to cut them to, have money to spend. So I do think the Jags are in a great spot because they are the team when it comes to cap space. They have the most cap space of any team in the league. So, if they want to stack up on veterans, they could do that. We don't know if veterans would want to go down to Jacksonville, but, I don't know why Jacksonville would not want some veterans. They could pick up Kyle Van Noy, get Joe Schobert, Kyle Van Noy, Josh Allen, Kayvon Chaisson. That would be a really great front seven. That's a great mold for a front seven, but they could go a lot of different directions. They don't really have big free agent names. They have 2 wide receivers, but hell, they can kind of go D.D. Westbrook and Keelan Cole. They could potentially go, but if they go, well, the Jags have both the money plus the draft picks to kind of make up for it. So the Jags are in a fantastic spot. I don't really know who they are gonna sign because no one knows that. Because no one knows who's going to be cut. So the Jags can go so many different routes. The Saints are in cap hell. Maybe they're forced to either trade or cut Marshawn Lattimore. They could definitely trade for Marshawn Lattimore. They have the draft capital to do so, and they have the cap space to do so. But the one free agent I would want Jacksonville to re-sign is left tackle Cam Robinson. Not that he played great or anything. I just think I don't think the Jags are going to go the offensive line route during the draft. So losing Cam Robinson and not drafting an offensive lineman with that 25th pick would really be killer, especially the left tackle. You do not want to introduce your new quarterback to that. So I do think they should re-sign Cam Robinson if they do not plan on drafting a tackle with that late first round pick. But yeah, the Jags, we don't know what route they're going to go down. None of us really know, and that's the thing that's so fun to me because over this next week, we're going to see a lot of big names get cut, and maybe the Jags do what the Dolphins did last season. Because how the Dolphins just went out and signed a fuck ton of people and spent an absurd amount of money. The Jags can do that same exact thing and turn their team from a very bad team to a very good team just like that. But it all starts with coaching. Let's talk about the Urban Meyer hire and what's my opinion on it, and do I think that this can work long term. About 2 months ago, it was announced that Urban Meyer would be the Jaguars' newest head coach. They moved on from Doug Marrone. No shit, who wouldn't do that? But the Urban Meyer hire is something that I'm very skeptical of. He hasn't coached in 3 seasons, and he's never coached in the NFL. I do think it's a good hire for the business side of things. Hell, if you want to sell tickets, get a big name coach in there. You're probably going to draft Trevor Lawrence. Boom, you got big name coach and you got Trevor Lawrence. It makes sense ticket wise, but does it make sense football wise? Once again, the same way with free agency. I know this is a boring video because I keep saying this. We don't fucking know. We have no idea, and that's what's fascinating to me. because this Urban Meyer experiment could work flawlessly, because everywhere he's went, he has won. He won at Utah, he won at Florida, he won at Ohio State. Now will he win at Jacksonville? It's a whole different thing. During the college game, you're talking to 18, 19, 20-year-olds. Down the NFL game, you're talking to actual adults. Like, getting like college kids hype is completely different from getting full-grown adults with children hype. It's a whole different ball game, and can Urban Meyer do it? We don't fucking know. I do think that it is a good hire business-wise, and I do think it's a good hire like football-wise, because who else would they have gotten that's as good as Urban Meyer, or at least has the potential that Urban Meyer has? Because he has an absurd amount of potential. He's won everywhere he's gone. Why not the NFL? Why not? He's taken a few years off coaching. I don't know what he's done during that time. He did that Fox show, that pregame college football show, but we don't know what he's done, preparation side of things. I do think he is put in the best position, and it's going to be really fun to see what the Jaguars do this offseason. They can go any different route they want, and I don't think there really is a bad option. When you look at the draft, it's just Trevor Lawrence. Then with the next 3 high picks, do whatever the fuck you got to do. You want to load up the defense? Go for it. Go for that. If you want to load up the defense, I would not blame you one bit. You already got Josh Allen, Caleb Unchassian. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. C.J. Henderson, Miles Jack, and do you have Joe Schobert? That is 5 building blocks. You want to add 3 more? Add 3 more. If you want to bolster up the offensive line to protect Trevor Lawrence, hey, do so, because you're not only protecting Trevor Lawrence, you are giving a more reliable run game to Trevor Lawrence, which is so important for a rookie QB, because we don't know what these rookie QBs will be. Like, we all want to say, oh, Trevor Lawrence is the next best thing, but we really have no fucking clue. So you want to give him a running game and actually have a clue of what that's going to be? By all means, do it. You want to give him 2 wide receivers plus a power back to give him skill position players? Do it. It does not matter what route the Jaguars go down. Just do not overpay for players and do not reach in the draft. That is the only route that can go bad. If you reach in the draft, let's just say you draft one of those tight ends during the late first round, that's a bit of a reach. You could probably just get them at 33. Just do not reach during the draft, and do not overpay during free agency, because overspending during free agency, it's a risky game. It is a very, very, very risky game. You could always just hold on to the cap space and wait till next offseason. And the Urban Meyer hire, I personally really like it. I think it's going to be really fun to see. This Jacksonville Jaguars team is going to be the major player in both the draft and free agency, and this should be a very, very fun offseason for Jaguars fans across the country, if there are Jaguars fans across the country. That's going to do it for me today. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends. If you like this video and you want to see more videos like this, I've posted like 10 of them, and I'll post like 10 more of them over the next 2 weeks. So yeah, hit the subscribe button, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed and have a great day.